yourselves a proper warm-up. We'll be deploying soon. Get yourself sorted. We'll be deploying shortly. Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Start warming up. Stand by for deployment to the war zone.
Gear located.
Battle Royale. You've got gas closing in fast. Get to the safe zone.
Secure location. Secure located.
Eliminate all targets in the AO. Enemy UAV overhead. Bounty target has been marked. Kill them. Enemy launched an advanced UAV. We're exposed.
Enough.
Gas is closing in.
Ultra.
Bounty target is down. Well done. UAV overhead. Objective update. Secure that position. Enemy UAV overhead. Recon intel secured. Enemy UAV overhead. Loadout drop inbound. Move to the next area and secure the perimeter. Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone. Enemy UAV overhead. Recon intel secured. Solid work. Move to the next area and secure the perimeter. Gas is inbound. Recon intel secured. Solid work.
Mark your vendor.
Welcome to the Gulag. If you survive, you earn your freedom. Here we go. Get yourself sorted. You're up next. Win here and you return to the front line. You lose, your fight is over. Time to earn your freedom, soldier. You got your ass kicked in that one. We're sending you back to base. You fought hard out there. Return to... some target practice while you can. We're deploying soon. Enemy dropping into the AO. Playtime's over, mate. You're going to the war zone. Battle Royale. Gas is approaching your position. Move to the safe zone.
Gear located. See one! Marked him!
Targets are up. Get to work. Bounty target is up. Let's get it done.
Relocating.
inbound. We're out of time. Scrub the contract.
Gear located.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
Requesting recon!
UAV entering the AO. Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel. RTB for resupply.
Loadout drop inbound. Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone. Enemy UAV overhead.
Gear located.
Positive ID on the bounty target. Sort them out. Enemy UAV overhead. Got gas moving in.
Requesting recon!
UAV entering the AO.
Moving.
Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel. RTB for resupply.
Contract time expired. We lost the target. Enemy launched an advanced UAV. We're exposed. Gulag. Survive and you can redeploy. You win this fight and you return to the front line. But if you lose, you're done here. You're up, soldier. Now go sort this fucker out. Their ass. Stand by for redeployment.
Gear located. Mark the sniper rifle. SMG marked.
Enemy UAV overhead. Contract type expired. We lost the target. You're one of 25 remaining. The enemy took that one, but we'll be back to finish the job. yourselves a proper warm-up. We'll be deploying soon.
Logan Paul versus Anderson Silva. It sounds as though this is the direction they're going, but Vegas has now come out with a line on it if that match is to take place. Logan's the favorite. Does that surprise you guys? That doesn't sound right to me. Logan Paul is the favorite to beat Anderson Silva. Logan just lost to Floyd. Anderson just beat Chavez. I think that really ups Anderson's stock, in all fairness. Nobody knew if he could go in there and box. Chavez is a real fighter. He's a knucklehead, and I mean, he's got his own issues with training, but he's a real fighter. He's a real boxer, for sure. Anderson beat him in his hometown, went to a decision. I didn't get to see the match, but imagine how badly Anderson would have had to beat him to have the judges give him the decision, first off in the filthy sport of boxing, but secondly in Chavez Jr.'s hometown. I mean, Anderson must have really put it on this guy. So if you say that Logan is going to beat Anderson, which is what the lines have it right now, you're saying that Logan could beat Chavez Jr. Does that sound weird to anybody? Right? I mean, I think that the polls have proved that they're tough guys. They take it serious, they go out there, they train hard. I mean, I think they've proved a whole lot of things. I don't know if Logan's ever won a fight. I'm not trying to be a dick right now. I thought he had a draw over in England, right? Remember when he fought with the rapper? Didn't they go to a draw, or even he lost? And then he had the fight with Floyd. Yeah, he was 0-1 going to the fight with Floyd. I am right. He's never won a fight. And then he loses to Floyd. Or, you know, I mean, he has the match with Floyd, but do you think that Logan Paul could beat Anderson Silva? Do you think that Logan Paul could beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s kid? And then, meanwhile, you've also got, getting ready to come up in Triller, De La Hoya versus Vitor. For some weird reason, I think that is the most interesting fight I've seen since we've been doing this celebrity, this crossover, this weird boxing. Because De La Hoya is not likely to win that. De La Hoya is greatly outsized. Greatly. He's much older. He's drunk and on drugs the last time that we saw him. He's putting out statements now that make you think that he's still got some of those habits. He put out a statement last night that it's not going to be an exhibition. I'm going for real and this is going to be a fight. So I'm looking at going, okay, it's not an exhibition. Now it's a fight. That means they've got to go under the rules, which is it going to be 12 rounds? The rounds are going to be 3 minutes apiece? No. It's still going to be 8 rounds. They're still going to be 2 minutes apiece, which means it's still an exhibition. So it's just a weird thing for De La Hoya to say. And then he said he was in the best shape of his life. And that is the absolute kiss of death. And I don't know what it is about that. But when an athlete starts saying they're in the absolute greatest shape of their life, it just never pencils. I'm interested in the match. I get that De La Hoya is a way better boxer than Vitor. I get that he's been doing it. He's fantastic. I remember why. 1992 is when I first saw the Golden Boy. Barcelona Olympic, watched him bring the gold medal home for the country. He's good, but he's undersized. He's not young. And he's a drunk. For me, it's an interesting contest. And by the way, this is going to take place in Triller. I've been lost from Jump Street on this. I mean, the Golden Boy has Golden Boy Promotions. I don't know what happened there. If he's not promoting his own fight, he's been looking for a fight. He was begging somebody to fight him for a period of time. It would just seem like if you're a promoter and if Golden Boy is a real company, you could get yourself a fight today. Because you would just make it. Floyd Mayweather does it all the time. I mean, just by example. So I'm a little bit lost on that. I don't have an overwhelming point. If you're wondering what my point is, I don't have an overwhelming one. There's a couple of things going on in boxing right now. First, the fact that Logan is a favorite over Anderson surprises me. And the fact that De La Hoya has just claimed he's fighting, not doing an exhibition, which is fake news, a much younger and bigger Vitor Belfort in somebody else's promotion. It's interesting to me.
Damn it. What's his weapon? Shoot. Allah.
If you survive, you earn your freedom.
All right, guys, let's talk EPO. What is EPO? What does it matter if TJ was taking it? What does it matter now that he's not taking it? Now,
Time for a bit of argy-bargy. While you wait, feel free to give these wankers a proper hearing. And if you find something to throw, feel free to give them that as well.
After a year of delays, setbacks, and embarrassment.
Fight's ready. You're up next, mate. Get ready.
That's quite frankly, the Tokyo Olympics are finally happening right now. The opening ceremony is being held in a largely empty stadium. This year's games will feature 33 sports and more than 11,000 athletes from around 200 countries, all in the shadow of this pandemic. Jamie Yukas is in Tokyo with more on the story. Good morning to you, Jamie. We're hearing that many people are very skeptical about how the games are going to play out. What's happening?
That scale for good reason, right? We're just learning that at one point there were not enough test kits at the Olympic Village, but the issue has been fixed and did not impact the athlete testing schedule. That news on top of opening ceremony scandals and no spectators due to a coronavirus state of emergency might make this the most controversial opening ceremony ever.
It's obviously a huge honor and a big moment, and I'm so glad that my team's going to be there with me.
Team USA women's basketball star Sue Bird and baseball infielder Eddie Alvarez are flag bearers for today's opening ceremony.
This is unprecedented. This Olympics is like no other.
Olympics organizers are not turning a blind eye to the impacts of the pandemic. COVID cases in Tokyo are reaching a new 6-month high of nearly 2,000 a day. The opening ceremony reflects that.
It's going to be very true, admitting that we are in a pandemic and the athletes are the true heroes.
Marco Balic is a longtime opening ceremony executive producer. He created these spectacular shows in Rio where 65,000 people attended. In Tokyo, there are just 1,500. Are you kind of holding your breath? There have been so many developments over the last few days.
What can I say? I think for them to work in the biggest show in the world with everybody having a bad sentiment around them, it was not easy.
Not easy might be an understatement. Just in the past week, the opening ceremony's composer resigned, and its creative director was dismissed after separate controversies from their past surfaced. The two men issued apologies, as did the 2020 organizing committee. But as they say, the show must go on. Stadiums will be without fans. Even the athletes' families are not allowed to be inside arenas to watch them compete. So the energy and excitement will be squarely focused on athletic skill. You're known as a leader. Are you carrying that into the opening ceremony tonight?
I kind of am who I am. I'm a point guard, I'm a leader, I don't know, it's all like intertwined in who I am as a person. So it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be with me always.
Now on the vaccination front, we're learning this morning from the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee that about 100 of the 613 U.S. athletes are not vaccinated. About 83% of U.S. athletes reported, though, they received vaccines. Vlad?
All right, hoping for the best. Jamie Yukas in Tokyo, thank you very much.
After a year of delay, the Tokyo Olympics is officially kicking off today. But the ceremony will be vastly different from the previous years due to the limitations imposed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Just 1,000 dignitaries will be present for the event. Among them, U.S. First Lady Jill Biden and
Hostile dropping into the area. Get yourselves a proper warm-up. Deployed soon. Hostile dropping into the area. You're done warming up. Stand by for deployment to the war zone.
It does. I think, the guy's done, but golly, man, you want to talk about a guy, people don't understand this. Henry Cejudo, when he first got into MMA, was a bit of a fuck-up, missing weight and just kind of all over the place. And his run at the end of USA Wrestling was not so great either. So he kind of flamed out there. And I just said he was training with some weird, they're putting, carbonation in your water and makes your muscles grow. Just total snake oil salesman. But eventually he got right with the
Fabians, Luke, okay?
Yeah, he got right with the right people, and you could just see the difference. I mean, he turned into an absolute killing machine. I would love to say, BC, I would love to see them run that one back if they can get to that point, but I'm afraid I don't think it's possible.
Shout out to friend of the show, Eric Albarracin, Luke, who is not only one of the geniuses behind Cejudo, but we'll have Pitbull next week against McKee. Luke, we haven't formally announced it, but you and I will be dropping a resume review next week on that great Bellator main event that is July 31st. So a lot of people waiting to see who they should put their money on based upon who we chose, Luke. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know who is gonna, we'll see who appreciates that, spending an hour and a half going through the history of, the history of Pitbull is, in many ways, the history of Bellator. It kind of, to see all the eras, if you go and watch Pitbull's career, you just see all the matches, MTV2 and ESPN Deportes and all that kind of stuff. And then, we've said this before, you'll see it on the resume review, featherweight has just always been a marquee division of Bellator, even going back to the Bjorn Rebney days, and he was a big fixture of that back then. You can just understand the growth of this organization through that. We'll see who appreciates all the work we put into it, BC, if you know what I'm saying, but I'm pretty proud of what we did.
Okay, all right, wow, yeah. I will say, though, Luke, that, if Pitbull was the history of Bellator, obviously McKee, if anyone, is looking like the future, so that's why this fight's so great. Look, I wonder, I will save it for next week. A lot of great stuff to talk about that fight. We'll save that for next week. We're going to continue down the road of this UFC fight night, Luke, and that co-main event is unfortunately gone now. It was supposed to be Aspen Ladd returning from the, 18-month layoff following ACL and MCL tear surgery. She was supposed to be facing Macy Chazon, Luke. Chazon, bro. Not all those other incarnations we attempted.
In fairness, I said I did not know how to pronounce it correctly. So, but Chazon, okay. That's the way you do it, Chazon.
I think I got one of those in my deck, right? A Chazon, was that a Chaise Lounge or something, Luke? Either way, Luke, Macy pulled out with an injury per Aspen Ladd's social media. The fight is off. Really disappointing because, Ladd's ready, it seems, to make those kind of statements where we get her in line, and she's going to have to wait. But, Luke, I did chat with Aspen Ladd, and although the fight is no longer happening, the interview's still happening on youtube.com/morningcombat. Here's a little snippet of your boy BC hanging out with Aspen. What have you been doing in the time off, mentally, internally, to feel like, is that who you are moving forward? Did that fight feel like a turning point of some kind?
Not necessarily. That was just when I finally listened to my coach, which I should have been doing the entire time. So that was more, I'm just very blessed in my team, and I need to focus a little bit better. But coming back, there's so much build-up. There's so many things I couldn't do, so everything has had to be precise to a certain point. Training is precise. What I can do on a certain month is precise.
some target practice while you can. We're deploying soon. Enemy soldier incoming. Warm-up's done. Time to kick this off. Battle Royale. Be advised, gas is closing in. Proceed to the safe zone.
Here located. Here located. Here located.
The resurgence of Verdansk Let and GDR's just eventual culmination to the fighter she's become. Yeah, there's a lot of Aldana doing amazing. Like, it's finally starting to cook up a little bit again, and you can't go wrong by going a number of different directions.
Luke, speaking of different directions, there were people who enjoyed the Aspen Lad, but I got a lot of DMs saying I should have extended the invitation to interview her mother as well. I didn't really understand that connotation.
I'm going to leave that one alone.
Damn it. Yeah, something about cougars or something. I didn't really look into it, but the interview's still available. Luke, look, this card also has some fights that we talked about storyline-wise on Wednesday that just have us jumping on the inside. One of those, of course, women's flyweight, Macy Barber, Miranda Maverick. We know what's at stake. We know the uniqueness of this matchup of 24-year-old versus 23-year-old. Both could have next. Barber's got a lot of questions to answer. All that ish, Luke. But what the heck is this fight going to look like? Is it going to be Maverick taking down Barber and really remaining dominant on the ground and going that route to get it? Or is it going to be a Macy Barber who is, you know, as savage as ever going for that early knockout? Or both, Luke? What are we going to see here?
I think you're going to see sticking and moving and angles from Miranda Maverick. I think that's really what you're going to see. I think Barber's going to try and pressure her either against the fence because she actually is very good. Barber really excels not just in the clinch, but in the early stages of any kind of clinch engagement where she can turn and then fire an elbow. She's actually very, very good at that, and they can be either slashing elbows that cut, they can be obviously devastating elbows that hurt. She's big there, but I really think the difference is going to try to be on the ground. I do not think in any capacity that Miranda Maverick is bad on the ground. She's good on the ground, very good. But what I would say is, you know, the best part of her game is not necessarily on the ground. The best part of her game is the reads and adjustments she makes in the middle of a fight, listening to her coach and what she sees otherwise on the feet. That is really where she is just very, very, very good. You can see some of the elbows here from Macy Barber from her fight with Alexa Grasso. She lost that fight, but that is something she excels at. So that's what I'm looking to see is who can really implement the geographical imposition. Macy Barber is going to try to pressure her, I think, obviously, push her against the fence, take her down, at least to some extent. I don't know if she's going to, I don't want to say she's going to be like Habib, BC, where she's going to relentlessly go for the takedown, but I do think close quarters, whatever that means, is what she's going to be looking for, and Maverick's going to try and keep it at distance. And I think early on, I think Maverick is going to have a hard time. The question is, this is what you always have to understand about Miranda Maverick. If she stays on the feet, she is going to make adjustments. And once she makes adjustments, again, I'm not saying she's Floyd Mayweather, but one thing about Floyd that you understand is he takes away certain things over the course of a fight, so that by round 7 or 8, all the weapons they were using in rounds 1, 2, and 3, they don't really exist anymore. They have to go to something else. He's very good about that. Maverick is obviously not on that level, but she has the ability, I'm telling you, the ability in MMA to make mid-round adjustments that actually stick and work is rare. It's very difficult to do. She's got it. I've seen it a number of times. So once that happens, what does Barber do? I think that's, to me, where the fight's going to be won or lost.
And Demetrius Johnson, by the way, has to be the ultimate master in that superlative you just identified there, Luke. But to the point you referenced earlier, that's interesting. That you think a Miranda Maverick ground-heavy attack would only be, let's say, a desperation move out of response to Barber having big success on the feet early?
No, quite the opposite. What I'm saying is, Maverick might go to the ground. Again, Maverick is hardly bad on the ground. She's good. She's very good.
Do you see that? But look, do you see that as the path to taking away Macy's best strengths?
No, I think on the feet, Maverick is much better. Again, early on, that could get dicey, where you're not used to their blitzing or what entry. When I say entry level, I don't mean like basic. I mean the beginning of the fight. Whatever attack she has there, it's going to take probably some time for Miranda to adjust to that. So once that happens, though, once that switch is flipped and she's able to take away whatever Barber is doing, what does Barber have as her second or third gear? I'm not saying she doesn't have one. In fact, I'm just curious to see what it is. But that, to me, is where the fight's going to be won or lost. If it stays on the feet, for sure, Maverick's going to find a second or third gear. She's very, very smart, very, very capable in that way. Can the opponent follow? We shall see.
Yeah, look, Barber's got so much to show us, Luke. We know that there is this Tasmanian Devil warrior inside of her, and she showed that even in defeat. But yeah, Luke, just not to belabor this, but what do you most need to see out of Macy to show that she's learned from those two losses and that this wasn't haste matchmaking to try to double down and prove to everybody that she's still the thing?
I think this is why the Maverick fight, dude, this is clever matchmaking on a number of levels. In the fights where she's lost, she had the injury one time, but the other time, she just couldn't get around what Grasso was doing and just kind of seemed to be flailing in there. She didn't actually have, in those cases, the extra gears that she needed. Now, they might have been there and she was unable to access them. Remember, she's still got, less than 10 fights total in her career, something like that? I mean, what is her record? 8-2. So she's got 10 total fights. We're still talking about a very junior fighter at this point. You can work on all the things you want to work on in the gym, but being able to go to that place when it's required is actually, it's not.
yourselves a proper warm-up. We'll be deploying soon. Warm-up's done. Time to kick this off. Battle Royale. You've got gas closing in fast. Get to the safe zone. Lads, let's get it done. to earn redeployment. There's a fight kicking off. You're up next, mate. Get ready. You win this fight and you return to the front line. But if you lose, you're done here. You're up, soldier. Now go sort this fucker out. You gave him a proper sort. Stand by for redeployment.
Here located.
Target identified. Slot the bastard. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy dropping into the AO. Bounty target is down. Well done. Enemy launched an advanced UAV. We're exposed. Friendly loadout drop on the way. Fought hard out there. Return to base for debrief.